Welcome to stage 2 of the South African Safari Rally. It's time for part 1 of the marathon as we attack the longest special of the week. There was a high-profile non-starter in Rally GP this morning, Tosha Sharina. The Spaniard, who is second in the World Championship, crashed yesterday, damaging his Honda and his left hand. Get well soon. Ross Branch was delighted to get back to winning ways yesterday after what has been a tough 2025 so far. However, his ill fortune returned with a vengeance on stage 2 as he ground to a halt early on with mechanical issues. Here's what happened.
Just unlucky. I hit a big bird and broke the oil cooler, and now there's no oil left in the bike.
The world champion did make it through, but lost over an hour and a half. It was a better day for his hero teammate, Nacho Cornejo. The Chilean struggles on this kind of terrain, so he spent a few months in Italy practicing on hardpack and enduro-style tracks. 6th place today, but he was some way behind the front runners. Well, Sharina may be out, but we are still set for a scrap between KTM and Honda for overall victory. The trio in red couldn't quite match the duo in orange today, coming 3rd, 4th and 5th, but the gaps at the top are tight. Van Beveren is 3rd overall, and he was given time back after stopping to open 1 or 2 closed gates. Brabeck was Honda's top performer on the stage, even if he dropped almost 5 minutes to the winner. The 2-time Dakar champion is just taking things day by day, and he's 3 minutes off the pace. Well, Skyler Howes was very unhappy with his navigation yesterday, but said today was much better. He had some fun winding his way through these savannah tracks, but he's over 20 minutes back overall. KTM, though, was simply on another level as they completed a 1-2. After his excellent job opening yesterday, Luciano Benavides was 2nd fastest and now 2nd overall. The Argentine determined to secure a podium after coming 4th at rounds 1 and 2. But up in 1st place, and it's becoming a familiar sight this season, was Mr. Daniel Sanders. Chucky already served notice of his pace yesterday after losing a lot of time early on, and today he managed to catch and pass the 2 riders in front of him, Brabeck and Van Beveren. The World Championship frontrunner storming into the overall lead, even if not everything was perfect. Sanders just 32 seconds ahead of his teammate Benavides today, but nearly 5 minutes clear of Brabeck. Bradley Cox was 15 minutes back in 7th place. It is looking like a 4-horse race between Sanders, Benavides, Van Beveren and Brabeck. Roy Barbosa continues to gain experience in the Rally 2 class as he builds towards his first Dakar. The Chilean needs to complete the Safari Rally to rubber stamp his entry for 2026. He admits that navigation is his Achilles heel, but he's a fast learner and he's currently running 5th overall in class. Konrad Dabrowski is a place ahead of him in 4th, having made a solid start to life with the Bass World KTM team. The Pole says it can be pretty hairy going through these sections with the deep grass, but when you can see what's coming up, it's good fun. A few navigation errors today, costing him around 18 minutes. Well, just as Red Bull KTM dominated in Rally GP, they also dominated in Rally 2, with Edgar Canet taking his 2nd consecutive victory. The Spaniard did struggle a bit in the last 40 kilometres or so, but otherwise he was very happy with his pace. Canet winning by 6 minutes 14 from Mike Doherty, with Tobias Ebster completing the podium for Hero. The gaps are starting to open up overall, and Canet looks increasingly like the man to beat. Today's victory in the quads went to Antanas Kanopkinas. After some mechanical trouble yesterday, the Lithuanian had a cleaner run to beat his teammate Gaetan Martinez by nearly 5 minutes. With Marek Woy crashing out yesterday, it'll be a two-man tussle between the CF Moto Thunder Racing pair for supremacy in South Africa. 22 minutes and 2 seconds separate Martinez and Kanopkinas, with their rivals already well out of contention. Every morning in Rally Raid, riders and drivers head out into the unknown. So how exactly do their teams follow the action?
So we're here in the M Sport Ford bivouac. We've had a few cars into the stage. Let's go and have a look around and show you what goes on when the stage is live.
Welcome in the Dacia Sound Rider. It's a privilege, I guess, because we never enter nobody inside.
So yeah, we've got a mix. 13 people in here, a mix of engineers, sport inside.
We have one race engineer by car. He's directly linked with the driver.
Once the cars leave here, it's pretty much out of our control of what happens, but it's now a case of following the race.
We have just a few information. This is part of the rally head. You have to discover the track, so we don't have any information to not give to the car, and we don't have any link with the car.
As I say, it's can be worrying when you see the map stop or a bad split time, but yeah, there's literally nothing we can do at that point. When the car comes back, then obviously that's when the real work starts, particularly for the engineers, looking through all the data of what's happened in the day on the two cars, from the engine side to the chassis side, and the car's then ready to go again for tomorrow.
This wasn't a good day to be opening in the ultimate class. The first 5 men out of the gate all lost at least 10 minutes as they went this way and that way and then back the other way, trying desperately to find the right track. Well, Sebastian Loeb fared the best of the front runners, but he could only manage 10th place on the day. And the overnight leader, Henk Laterken, dropped a significant chunk of time in the latter part of the stage. He slips down to 5th place overall. The Ford Raptors of Carlos Sainz and Nani Roma also struggled to find their way, but apart from that, they avoided any major issues. El Matador absolutely thundering his way between the fields. He now sits just 4.5 minutes off the lead. Here's a less familiar name, Daniel Schroeder, who's been doing a fine job this week. The German's competing for the family team, PS Laser Racing, alongside his father Jürgen, and he began the day 7th overall as the leading privateer. In recent years, Daniel's been a regular at the South African Rally Raid Championship, so he knows these tracks, and he took another top 10 today. It was certainly better to start further back today and have some rabbits to chase, and between 8th and 10th looked like a bit of a sweet spot. Ryan Baragwanath came 5th for Century Racing, climbing up to 2nd place overall after a nice clean run. It wasn't all good news though for the South African manufacturer, as Frenchman Mathieu Serradori retired due to a slipping clutch. It's no major surprise to see the Toyota Gazoo racing team faring well here in South Africa, and after setting off 10th today, Seth Quintero propelled himself into the overall lead. The young American was 4th quickest on the day, so he'll also have a few lines to follow on stage 3. Talk about getting stuck in. At one point today, it was actually Nasser Al Attiyah who topped the overall standings, but the World Championship leader incurred a 15-minute penalty for missing a waypoint, and that left Quintero top of the pile. The Qatari now sits down in 15th, so he has some work to do to claw his way back up the leaderboard. But as we know, he's going to give it his all until the very last kilometre.
It looked like not easy going, this weekend, but still we have 3 days and we try to do our best.
And how about today's stage victory? Well, it appeared to be going to Guillaume de Mévius, who did a brilliant job in the X-Raid Mini. While his teammate João Ferreira was halted by a broken differential, de Mévius was flying, but late penalties once again made the difference. 2 minutes for a missed waypoint, and he had to settle for third. Well, his loss was obviously somebody else's gain, or in this case two somebodies, Sayud Variawa and Guy Botterill. The two SV Racing teammates began the day a long way back and absolutely made the most of it. Variawa, 20th out of the gate, finished just 55 seconds down in second place. Well, Botterill had a bad day yesterday, picking up 17 minutes of penalties for missed waypoints, but this was some way to strike back. The South African set off 41st this morning, and he always looked in contention for top spot. Originally, he was 12 seconds down on de Mévius when he got to the finish line, but the Belgian's penalty handed him the win.
Really happy for the team, really happy for my first World Championship win, stage win, so that was really good. Tomorrow is going to be a challenging day opening the road, but we're looking forward to the challenge.
A South African 1-2 for Botterill and Variawa, with de Mévius in third. Quintero and Baragwanath rounded out the top 5. It's very close overall, just 2 minutes and 9 seconds separating the top 5. Nicolas Cavigliasso took the Stage 2 honours in the Challenger class. The Argentinian and his co-driving wife Valentina had a bit of misfortune yesterday, but today they charged right back into overall contention. Meanwhile, Dania Akil made the most of penalties elsewhere to jump up to second place. A much better day for the Saudi after she lost a wheel during the prologue. She's bottom of the standings, but only 8 minutes 37 off the pace. The day belonging to her BBR teammates. Khalifa Alatia was third ahead of Pau Navarro and David Zille, who both got 2-minute penalties. It is super close though, with only a minute and a half separating the top 3. After taking his first W2RC win in the SSVs yesterday, Mario Franco was chasing his first outright stage win today and came agonisingly close. But a 2-minute penalty for speeding meant he had to settle for second place. Instead, the victory went to Alexander Pinto and Bernardo Oliveira, who bounced back brilliantly after damaging their suspension arm yesterday. The Portuguese pair will now be looking to clamber their way up the standings and defend their World Championship lead. Pinto taking the day ahead of Franco and his closest W2RC rival Enrico Gaspari. Yesterday's stage winner Richard Axel came in fourth. Franco leads the rally by 2.5 minutes. The marathon continues tomorrow on Stage 3, so do join us then, and thanks for watching.